What's the boogeyman?
You know, it's Halloween. I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare, huh?
It was the low-budget shocker that made a surprise box office killing. Without movie stars or special effects, it sliced its way to the top of Hollywood's record books.
Everybody was surprised by its success. And it didn't succeed right away.
Its making was the ultimate test for a group of struggling filmmakers who took a stab at creating a new chapter in screen horror.
We were a little army. We were a little army making a film. We were just a bunch of kids trying to make a movie.
But when they were doing the deed, the sexual deed.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Everybody did everything.
Go get me a beer.
I thought you were gonna get me one.
It was that kind of a, you know, Mickey Rooney, let's make a movie.
Totally.
Anytime I'm channel surfing and I come across a scene from Halloween, you know, I just have to sit there and watch it again.
It's amazing how many fans, generation after generation after generation, who have come up to me and said, I loved it, I was so scared I couldn't sleep. People really embrace this picture.
Are you insane?
Halloween is the Gone with the Wind of the horror movies.
Please help me! Please!
I watched him for 15 years, sitting in a room, staring at a wall, not seeing the wall, looking past the wall, looking at this night, inhumanly patient, waiting for some secret, silent alarm to trigger him off. Death has come to your little town, Sheriff. You can either ignore it, or you can help me to stop it.
Released in 1978, the horror tale Halloween became a box office smash and a cultural phenomenon.
I saw the boogeyman.
With its simple but terrifying story of small-town babysitters stalked by a maniacal killer. Despite a budget of just $320,000, Halloween would go on to become the most profitable independently released film ever. Its worldwide success shocked not only Hollywood, but also the filmmakers behind it, who went on to become some of the industry's hottest talents.
Mommy Emerson, that's a haunted house. He said awful stuff happened there once. Michael!
All the elements were right. An intriguing villain, a little bit of camp value with the Loomis character played by Donald Pleasence.
I'm his doctor. You must be ready for him. If you don't, it's your funeral.
You had some pretty teenagers in there.
We have 3 new cheers to learn in the morning. The game is in the afternoon. I have to get my hair done at 5, and the dance is at 8.
All the stars were in alignment.
Totally.
Everybody was very young. We were shooting an incredibly fast pace. The entire makeup, wardrobe, prop department was in a tiny Winnebago. Here I was with these 18, 19, 20, 22-year-old guys, primarily, and a lot of people's girlfriends and friends and family all creating this movie.
Well, kiddo, I thought you outgrew superstition.
We were kids back then in '78. People were giving us some money. We were going out and playing. We had a huge sandbox to play in. We had our friends with us. We had no idea what we had.
Here's something that a movie which didn't cost that much money, which is constantly continues to sell. I don't think there's another film like it.
Although Halloween was created by a team of movie-making hopefuls, Its eerie premise was the idea of a veteran Hollywood player, studio executive turned independent film distributor Irwin Yablans.
I want to do a horror film. So I started to think about how to do this for the limited amount of money we had. And it occurred to me that if we did a movie about babysitters, it would work because everybody had either been a babysitter or been a baby. And also I thought it would be something that would lend itself to kids in jeopardy. One night would be the best way to do it. Halloween just popped into my mind.
Trick or treat! Trick or treat!
And I thought to myself, gee, wouldn't that be great? But I'll bet somebody's done it, you know. The title's been used. Someone's made a picture called Halloween. And then the magical thing that I learned, the word Halloween, and as much as we could research, not only had not been used, but even the word had not been used as part of another title in the history of the movie business. Now that's an interesting thing.
Yablans' enthusiasm was shared by his pick for director. He turned to a 29-year-old USC graduate who'd recently helmed one of Yablans' most intriguing action films. His name was John Carpenter.
I had made a low-budget movie called Assault on Precinct 13. It had gotten some critical response in Europe.
It's terror in the night. It's the most shattering assault on a police station in history.
This is the siege. It's a goddamn siege.
Assault on Precinct 13.
Irwin said, let's make a horror film about babysitters who are stalked by this psychotic killer.
And John got really excited. I met with him the next day at the Hamburger Hamlet. We had a tuna fish sandwich together. And I explained it to him.
He suggested we put it on Halloween night, play the whole thing on Halloween night, and call the movie Halloween, because he felt it was a holiday that everybody could identify with, and it hadn't really been done. And since I needed a job and I wanted to do that kind of thing, I said, sure, I'll do it, and as long as I can have complete creative control and I get my name above the title, then we'll do it.
He said, I can do this for $300,000. I said, for $300,000, if you can do that, you can have Final Cut, you can have it above the title. I mean, you can have anything you want. He said he would do it in 4 weeks. He would do the music. And for that, he received the princely sum of $10,000, which, by the way, was a lot of money for John at that time, and 10% of profit, which I'm sure he believed that he would never see a dollar of. Now I got to find the $300,000, but I agreed at the spot. I knew I would find that money somehow. We were in business with a man named Mustafa Akkad, and he invested some money in our company, but he was, quite frankly, uninterested.
I was shooting an epic, big historic epic, Line of the Desert, with Anthony Quinn and Irene Papas and Rod Steiger in Morocco and Rome. And here I get a message that John Carpenter wants to meet me. So I was in London. John Carpenter came to London with Irwin Yablans, and I said, this is the idea. How much? They said $300,000. I said, $300,000? I mean, when it's expensive, you get worried. And when it is so cheap, you get worried. How can they make a movie for $300,000?
I kept backing John up and telling Mustafa that this picture, from a commercial point of view, could be a very successful little movie, and we would do very well. And then I really hit him with the zinger. I said to John, but you know, John, $300,000 is a lot of money. And maybe it's just more than Mustafa can handle. I think that it was calculated because I knew Mustafa was a very proud man. Oh, what do you mean? And with that, and then he agreed to the $300,000 right there, and that was it.
Galvanized by the promise of total creative freedom, John Carpenter now eagerly set out to make a film that would be his industry calling card. To co-write and produce, he turned to a trusted past collaborator, Deborah Hill, his script supervisor on Assault on Precinct 13.
It took us about 3 weeks to write the script. We placed it in Haddonfield, Illinois, because I'm from Haddonfield, New Jersey. So I really had a sense of what a small town was like.
You're not supposed to go up there.
Yes, I am.
That's Spook House.
Could be any place in the Midwest. Most small towns have a kind of haunted house story of one kind or another. At least that's what teenagers believe. There's always a house down the lane that somebody was killed in or somebody went crazy in.
Does anybody live here?
No, not since 1963 when it happened. Every kid in Haddonfield thinks this place is haunted.
They may be right.
Lonnie Elam said never to go out there. Lonnie Elam said that's a haunted house.
Lonnie Elam probably won't get out of the 6th grade.
I was a babysitter, and I knew what it was like to be, you know, all those characters. And so I really contributed the girl dialogue.
I thought you were babysitting tonight.
The only reason she babysits is to have a place
Shit.
I have a place for that.
I forgot my chemistry book.
So who cares? I always forget my chemistry book and my math book and my English book and my, let's see, my French book. And, well, who needs books anyway? I don't need books. I always forget all my books. I mean, it doesn't really matter if you have your books or not. Hey, isn't that Devon Graham?
I don't think so.
I think he's cute.
Hey, jerk! Speed kills! God, can't you take a joke?
John really is, I would say, the developer of the whole evil concept. He gave Michael Myers that sense of foreboding.
Oh, look.
Look where?
Behind the bush.
I don't see anything.
The guy who drove by so fast, that one you yelled at.
Oh, subtle, isn't he?
Halloween is loaded with scares, suspense scares. Hopefully not grisly or gory, but suspenseful, making people on the edge of their seats. I enjoy doing that.
Creep. Laurie, do